Before they were a scattered creed bound by honor, the Mandalorians were a nightmare, forged in dark skies and ancient conquerors, warriors who marched under a Sith banner to bring the Galactic Republic to its knees. Welcome back to the Infernal Brotherhood of the Scruffy-Looking Nerf Herders. Today we open a dark chapter from the expanded universe to explore the true origins of the Mandalorian culture. Long before the days of Din Djarin or Bo-Katan Kryze, the Mandalorians were not a multi-species religion, but a singular, terrifying alien race driven by a singular philosophy, that confrontation is required for growth, and war is the only true way of life. Today, we trace their journey from the shadows of Coruscant to the catastrophic introduction to the galactic stage during the Great Sith War. Millennia before the foundation of the Galactic Republic, the world we know as Coruscant was not covered in glittering high-rises and kilometer-tall skyscrapers. It was a primeval battlefield. The original Mandalorians were not human, they were the Tong, a formidable gray-skinned humanoid race defined by physical power and martial prowess. For generations, the Tong waged relentless warfare against 13 human nations, known as the Battalions of Zel. When an enormous volcano eruption choked the atmosphere with ash and nearly drove humanity to extinction, the Tong embraced the darkness. They renamed themselves the Dawurda Verda, the Warriors of the Shadow. Despite the volcanic catastrophe, the resilient humans eventually rallied and forced the Tong off Coruscant entirely. Driven into exile, the Tong retreated to the Outer Rim, finding refuge on the shrouded world of Rune. But exile did not break the Tong. It only sharpened their appetite for conquest. Around 7,000 before the Battle of Yavin, under the formidable warlord Mandalore I, the Tong launched a campaign into uncharted space. They claimed a wild, untamed world on the Outer Rim. The planet was dominated by colossal Leviathan-class beasts known as mythosaurs. In a legendary display of martial dominance, Mandalore I and his warriors slaughtered the giant beasts and tamed the harsh ecosystem. In honor of their leader, the Tong named the world Mandayaim, Mandalore, and took upon themselves the identity of the Mandalorians. It was during this era that Mandalore I established the Mandalorian Crusaders and forged the legendary Mask of Mandalore. Carved directly from the sternum bone of a slain mythosaur and modeled after the features of the Tong, this ceremonial war helm became the ultimate symbol of supreme leadership. Whoever held the mask claimed the title of Mandalore, the sole ruler and commander of all Mandalorian clans. For thousands of years, the Mandalorian Crusaders expanded their reach through brutal campaign after campaign. They claimed surrounding worlds like Ordo, Gargon, and Shogun. Yet, as they conquered, their culture underwent a profound evolution. When they attempted to conquer Mandilla, the native Mandillan giants fought back so fiercely that the Mandalorians, deeply impressed by their prowess, welcomed them into their ranks. Later, after exterminating the Nivuta species, war itself became defined in Mandalorian culture through the destroyer god Cad Harangir. They absorbed conquered species into their culture, including the Zeltron Antos Wyrick, gradually transforming the Mandalorians from a single alien race into a culture bound by action and honor. It was also during these early campaigns that Mandalorians invaded Basilisk. Though the native Basiliskans poisoned their own planet to deny the invaders a victory, the Mandalorians captured their powerful Basilisk war droids, semi-sentient mechanical mounts, and reduced the reptilian Basiliskans themselves into beasts of burden known as Lagarta's war dragons. By 3997 BBY, a new ruler wore the sacred mask, Mandalore the Indomitable. Seeking a challenge worthy of his crusaders, he led his forces to the Empress Teta system, staging an invasion from the planet Kuar. This aggressive expansion caught the attention of Ulic Qel-Droma, a fallen Jedi Knight who had become a Sith Lord commanding the Krath forces. Challenged to single combat on the plains of Harkul, Mandalore the Indomitable rode his basilisk war droid against the Sith Lord. Though he fought valiantly, Mandalore was defeated by Qel-Droma's force powers and lightsaber mastery. Bound by his strict code of honor, Mandalore pledged his loyalty, and the entire Mandalorian army, to Ulic Qel-Droma and the Dark Lord of the Sith, Exar Kun. This formed the very first Mandalorian-Sith alliance. The Crusaders proved invaluable to the Sith. Mandalore led the assault that captured the Republic's shipyards at Forast, securing 300 ships, and personally led the terror invasion of Coruscant, dropping atop Basilisk war droids directly into Galactic City. Even when betrayed by the Krath witch Alima Cato, Mandalore showed unwavering cunning, journeying to Yavin 4 to enlist Exar Kun and rescue Ulic from Republic execution. The high tide of the Mandalorian alliance with the Sith turned at the royal palace of Iziz on Onderon. Mandalore the Indomitable led his crusaders, raining down from atop their war droids, engaging in a savage aerial battle against Onderon's famous beast riders on their flying Drexels. When Republic reinforcements under Fleet Captain Orly Vanicus arrived and wiped out the Mandalorian orbital fleet carriers, Mandalore ordered a desperate retreat to Onderon's jungle moon Zun. During the chaotic atmospheric retreat, Mandalore's personal Basilisk war droid was hit by enemy fire and crashed into the dense, deadly jungle below. Separated from his warriors, the injured Mandalore dragged himself from the wreckage, only to be surrounded by Zun's most apex predators. Though he fought with the fierce desperation of a true warrior, Mandalore the Indomitable was eventually overwhelmed and slain by the native beasts. When surviving Crusaders searched the jungle for their fallen leader, they found only his remains and the intact Mask of Mandalore. Following ancient tradition, one warrior picked up the mask, placed it over his face, and claimed the title of Mandalore the Ultimate, setting the stage for an even greater galactic war that would follow. That is all the time we have today to explore the ancient origins of the Mandalorians. Thank you for watching. We'd like to invite you to click the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and click the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload another Star Wars Holocron lore episode. We'd also like to invite you to consider becoming a YouTube member or a Patreon patron. Thank you to our creator patrons Aaron Hardy and D. Robert Handy, producer patrons David Galindo and Joe Lyons, developer patrons Chris Androu and Sam Ruiz, and all of our YouTube members. Until the Infernal Brotherhood convenes again, my fellow scruffy-looking Nerf Herders, may the Force be with you.